Sayadaw has been explaining what the yogis need to do in order to practice, so that yogi can fill up the gaps and to practice respectfully, meticulously. And Sayadaw has been giving these talks to encourage the yogi so that they can attain knowledge from the practice. And Sayadaw will continue what has been explained according to the teachings of the late Venerable Mahasi Sayadaw. By being mindful of the nama rupa, the moment they arise, by being mindful of the nama rupa, one will discern correctly. One should be mindful of the presently arising object. By noting the presently arising object, one will discern the nama rupa. By noting with aim and effort, one will discern the nama rupa in the way they are. And the other day, Sayadaw explained by using example. In the beginning, it is very important that yogi should be practicing correctly, properly, according to the correct method. So Sayadaw has to keep on explaining the same thing in order to make the newcomers understand about the practice. By noting the object, focusing the mind on the object, the moment the object arises, one discerns the nama rupa. So one should be mindful when seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching, bending, stretching, even opening and closing of the eyes, blinking. These should be done mindfully. One should be noting these activities. These objects had arisen in the past. They are arising freshly new at present. And also in the future, whenever there are circumstances, they will arise. The object that has arisen in the past, it is not certain now as it has already passed away. The object that will arise in the future is not certain. What is certain is the presently arising object that is freshly new. And one should be mindful at the moment the object arises, the moment the object arises that is freshly new. One should not be thinking, one should not be imagining, but one should note the presently arising object. In order to remove the defilements, in order to remove the heat of the defilements totally, one needs to be mindful of the presently arising object. So in order to weaken, remove the defilements, or in order to eradicate all the defilements, one should be mindful of the object. One needs to learn the correct method of practice. one should know the benefit of practice. Knowing the benefits of practice, one will have faith and confidence, and one will know that it is good, and one will have strong will, wanting to get the benefits of the practice. There will be a strong will to practice. Learning the correct method of practice, as well as getting the guidance from the meditation teacher who has been giving guidance and instruction closely, one will learn more of the correct practice, and one will understand the benefits, one will have faith and confidence, one will have more wish to get purified, being free from the defilements. Every person, most of the people cherish the kama rati, sensual delight. In order to gain the kind of happiness that excels many times than the worldly happiness, one should have the courage to give up the sensual happiness. When coming out of the sensual realm, when coming out of the sensual field, one gains the happiness of renunciation. By staying alone, by practicing alone, continuously noting every arising object, the best one can, there will be viveka rati, happiness of seclusion, and viveka sukha, happiness of seclusion, being free from the companionship of defilements. If there is one moment of noting, there will be one moment, there will be happiness of seclusion. And if the person notes for 10 moments, there will be 10 moments. One will have happiness of seclusion, and one gains knowledge. By gaining knowledge, one removes wrong view. There will be peacefulness, calmness, and one gains maturity. One will become more mature by developing knowledge. When knowledge becomes mature, from pavata, from the continuous arising of the nama rupa, one will reach apavata, the cessation, where all the nama rupa comes to a cessation. Realizing the cessation, there will be sambodha sukha, happiness that is gained through gaining knowledge. At the stage of uddiyapaya jnana, insight into fast arising and passing away, there will be good experiences, springy good feeling, oozing good feeling, calm good feeling in the stage of uddiyapaya jnana, and there will be much comfort in the practice, and the knowledge develops. And at the stage of uddiyapaya jnana, one gains the unique kind of happiness that is unrelinquishable. It is very unique, meaning that it is always new and good. The sensual happiness, after getting sensual happiness for over a time, one gets fed up. But the Dhamma happiness is very unique. It is always new and new. Having the Dhamma happiness, one will continue to practice. One will not stop in halfway, but one will continue to practice further and further. So the happiness gained through the practice will keep the yogi going. The practice itself will encourage the yogi to practice further. When the yogi gets to the stage of realizing apavada, the cessation, there will be sambodha rati, the delight that is gained through the attaining of knowledge. So, in order to gain such kind of happiness, one needs to note the presently arising object. By being mindful at the moment the object arises, one is sure to discern the true nature. By noting the nama-rupa, the moment they arise, one will discern the nama-rupa clearly, distinctly. Saddha, faith and confidence will become stronger. Chanda, the will become stronger. One practices with aim and effort so that there will be sustained mindfulness. One makes the effort so that the noting mind reaches the object. One has to aim the mind so that the noting mind will be face to face with the object. Exerting effort in the practice will generate sustained mindfulness. And aiming, directing the noting mind will be direct with the object. Mindfulness is sustained and samadhi, concentration, will arise. By being mindful of the nama-rupa, one discerns the nama-rupa distinctly. So it is the first knowledge that the yogi will come to attain. So Sayadaw will explain how knowledge arises according to the tradition of the late Venerable Mahasi Sayadaw. The whole body is the field of objects to be noted. From the standing, when one sits down, noting sitting, with aim and effort, one comes to know the nama-rupa in the sitting. In order to discern, when sitting, one should sit inch by inch, noting the sitting. As soon as the sitting takes place, one should note it with aim and effort. Noting sitting with aim and effort, there will be sustained mindfulness. One has to exert effort so that mindfulness will stick onto the object. One has to aim the mind so that the mind will sink into the object. The mind will enter the object. Noting sitting with aim and effort, one discerns the nama-rupa distinctly. One will come to know the nama-rupa distinctly, automatically, by noting the object with aim and effort. So one does not have to analyze the nama-rupa deliberately, but by noting the object with aim and effort, one will automatically discern the nama rupa. Discerning the nama rupa, one removes atta ditthi, one removes the wrong view of atta. Even if one has not discerned the nama rupa yet, but by noting the sitting, when the mind falls on the form or shape of the body, or when the mind falls on the manner of sitting, then the mind is on the object. The mind does not wander away. Being free from defilements, the mind will be pure and clean. One will, by noting sitting, at times the mind falls on the form or shape of the body. At times the mind falls on the manner of sitting. Later on, the noting mind will fall beyond form or shape or the manner, but the true nature, such as stiffness, heaviness, and tension. So in this way, by noting sitting, one knows either the form or shape, or the manner, or the true nature, such as heaviness, tension, and stiffness. Even if the mind does not fall onto the nature, stiffness, tension, movement, but when the mind falls on the intention to sit and the form of the body, still it is precious. At the moment the mind falls on the sitting, the mind is free from defilements. There will not be laziness. The defilements are repelled by noting sitting with aim and effort. When mindfulness is sustained on the object, mindfulness protects the mind so that the mind will not be dirty or polluted. When the mind falls calm and collected on the object, there will not be any agitation of the mind. The mind falls calm and collected on the object, and thus priyuthana kilesa, obsessive defilements, do not arise at the moment the mind falls on the object. At the moment, there is viriya, sati, and samadhi, effort, mindfulness, and concentration. By noting the object, the mind falling calm, collected on the object, analyzing that mind, there is the jhanic factors involved. By noting repeatedly sitting, the mind falls beyond the form or shape or the manner, but the mind falls on the true nature, such as heaviness, stiffness, tension. When the mind falls on the intention to sit, one discerns the nama. When the mind falls on heaviness, stiffness, tension, the person comes to discern the rupa. By noting sitting, one discerns the nama rupa distinctly, and one understands that there is nothing apart from the nama rupa. There is no person, no being, no I, no man, no woman. Not discerning the nama rupa, one has wrong view that it is a person, a being, a man, a woman. So one tends to know the things that do not really exist. Nama rupana yathava dasana Ditti Visuddhi Nama. Discerning the Nama Rupa in the way they are, there is purification of the view. So one needs to note the presently arising object with a strengthened mind, so that viriya effort, sati mindfulness, samadhi concentration, and panya wisdom will be cultivated. When knowledge arises, one removes the wrong view. Before one discerns the Nama Rupa, one believes that it is I, it is man, woman. By discerning the Nama Rupa distinctly through the practice, one removes Atta Ditti, removing the wrong view of Atta. So one does not deliberately need to remove Atta Ditti, but Atta Ditti will automatically be dispelled by discerning the Nama Rupa. So in order to discern the Nama Rupa, one needs to be mindful of the presently arising object, noting respectfully, meticulously. In the sitting, there is the Nama Rupa. Just as when eating, to know the taste, one needs to chew properly, pay attention to know the taste. In the same way, in order to know the true nature, one needs to be mindful at the moment of sitting down. The intention to sit is the Nama, the sitting is the Rupa. These Nama Rupa arise stage by stage. In the sitting also, sitting arises stage by stage. There is only Nama Rupa involved in the sitting. There is no Atta, no self, no soul, no man, no woman. What is sitting is the Nama Rupa. In order to know the taste of the food, one needs to chew, pay attention, chewing the food, one knows the taste. But if one is thinking that the food is this flavor, that flavor, rather than eating it, it will just be imaginary. Even if one has tasted the food before, but not eating now, what she knows about the flavor is not direct. It is through thinking, imagining. In order to be direct knowing, one should chew the food in order to know the flavor. In the same way, in order to know the true nature, one needs to be mindful of the object the moment the object arises. In the sitting, one needs to sit down, inch by inch, being mindful of the sitting. By being mindful of the sitting, one discerns the Nama Rupa, and one discerning the Nama Rupa, one removes Ditti, wrong view. But not noting the object, the moment the object arises, the way the person knows will not be correct. It will be the view that is deviated from the truth, and one will not discern correctly. There will be uncertainty, being vague, dim about the object, and one will know wrongly as the person or being or soul. By noting the object with sustained mindfulness, when sati and samadhi mindfulness and concentration become strong, one will discern correctly in the way the nama rupa is. So, discerning the nama rupa, one's view will not be deviated away from the truth, but there will be correct view. But the wrong view cannot be removed by thinking or imagining. Wrong view cannot be removed by reading books. The wrong view that has been following throughout the existences will be weakened by gaining knowledge. But in order to abandon the wrong view totally, one needs to attain the first path knowledge. Becoming a Sotapanna, stream enterer, one totally eradicates the wrong view. Through the practice of Satipatthana, when one cultivates knowledge, one will weaken the wrong view. So the defilements will be weakened through the development of knowledge. So that by attaining path knowledge, one will be able to remove totally. There is a law that only when one observes at the moment the object arises, one is sure to discern the true nature. It is a definite law. This definite law arises from the practice. So it is not imaginary. This law arises from the practice, and this law is definite. In order to discern the true nature, one should be mindful of the object at the moment the object arises. Meaning that if one does not observe the object, the moment the object arises, one will not discern the true nature. By being mindful of the object, one discerns the nama rupa distinctly. So whatever object that arises, among the field of objects, the fresh new object that arises should be noted with aim and effort. In each and every nama rupa, there is the nature which is compared to the flavor of the food. So in every activity, in every object, there is the nature, the characteristics. And in order to discern the nature, the characteristics, one should be mindful of every activity, every object. So it has been already more than 1 month, but if the person is not sitting down slowly, not standing up slowly, not bending slowly, not stretching slowly, not doing any of the activities slowly, then he or she will not be making progress. When eating, if the person swallows without chewing, then one will be choking, and it causes much discomfort by choking if one does not chew properly. In the practice, one needs to note the object precisely, accurately, with aim and effort. Otherwise, there will be wrong view. The person's view will be distorted away from the truth. So in order to know distinctly, clearly, one needs to be observing the object the moment the object arises. So there is the definite law. Only if one observes at the moment the object arises, one is sure to discern the true nature. And tomorrow Sayadaw will explain, giving an example. There was one university student who practiced for 1 month, and she did not see any improvement in her practice, even though she was practicing for 1 whole month. And she was interviewed by another teacher when Sayadaw was away on a trip. So when Sayadaw came back, she reported that if she did not make any progress within 1 or 2 days, she will leave the retreat. So Sayadaw explained to her, using the definite law, that by observing the object at the moment the object arises, one is sure to discern the true nature. By explaining that example, she practiced accordingly and she made some progress. And Sayadaw will continue to explain tomorrow.